Welcome to another edition of Buck What You Heard. My name is Gene. You can reach me at Buck What You Heard. You follow me, and I will follow you back. And I am joined tonight by my special guest, Allison Kohler of Bucks Report. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, good. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, no problem. And you were just getting finished with camp, doing some interviews with some players. Give me your overall thoughts so far on camp. What are you seeing?
Well, actually, a lot of the focus, for obvious reasons, has been on Jameis Winston. And I feel like today he had, I would say, his most solid day of camp so far. He's starting to look, his process is starting to look a little bit more smooth than it has in past days of training camp. Certainly since the day that I was here on Friday. And, I feel like he's starting to kind of get the feel for the new offense.
Mm-hmm.
But then sort of as I was thinking that, it was winding down, training practice was winding down, and you could just kind of tell that he was a little bit slower. He was short with his passes, or he was throwing them over the receiver, but anybody's going to look
Yeah, the thing that I've noticed about Jameis Winston over the years is he's a very emotional guy, and if there's a lot of hype, he gets hyped up, and it's hard to get him calmed down. But when he does get calmed down, he gets into his rhythm, and he's probably the most polarizing figure in Tampa Bay sports history, in my opinion, that I can remember back to. So you're going to have people that like him and other people that don't like him. I'm glad to hear positive things like that about him out of camp, only because I think it's important that he figures out this offense and figures out how everything works, and I think that's very important. I wanted to ask you too about the defense. I know the defense has been very important to talk about the defense. What are your thoughts on the defense so far?
Yeah, well, I think Todd Bowles is doing a great job with the defense, and I sort of feel like they've been the highlight of camp, so far. There's still plenty of time to go, but I just feel like that they're really starting to, and again, everything's new. You know what I mean? The defense is new, the offense is new. There's nothing here, even for the veterans of the team, that is something that's already been installed in previous seasons. So considering how brand new.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. I know it's kind of distracting with things going on behind you. A couple of questions for you. Have any specific players stuck out to you as you've been watching camp?
Yeah, you know what? Andre Ellington. I can't keep my eyes off of him. It's kind of funny because I sort of feel like I should move, so I'm gonna walk as I talk.
Okay, not a problem.
I'm very good at. Anyway, yeah, Andre Ellington, is really, really surprising. Obviously he's worked with Arians before. He's sort of used to the, what he's seeing here. So that may play a big part in that one moment. Yeah. Okay, so that may play a big part in terms of why he's doing. He looks so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, he's very comfortable. They've
been they're like mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
Anyway, but they've been using him a lot. You know what I mean? Like with the first team and things. So, it's hard to tell right now if it's because he's a veteran and he knows the offense and he kind of wants, maybe Arians wants him to sort of mentor, sort of show the running backs how it's supposed to be done. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's the case or honestly, he may just end up, from my perspective, I sort of feel like he's going to end up on the roster.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
On the 53-man roster.
Absolutely. And you can't. Go ahead.
No, I think that there was some speculation in terms of, did they just want a veteran body, in camp, or was he really going to be, a part of the offense? And that was kind of early on, even before camp, and after they signed him, there was a lot of speculation in terms of exactly what his role would be once the season started. So, and I sort of feel like so far that's pretty clear.
Yeah, that's really exciting too. And if you know the history of the Bucks here now over the past couple of years, Dirk Cutter had Jacquizz Rodgers come in, and that was kind of his safety blanket, somebody that was familiar with his offense that he was able to come in and install, and he played a part in this team. And I kind of see that with Andre Ellington. Andre Ellington, to me, still has a lot of tread, and I believe that he can come in and definitely make plays and help this offense. I believe, with the running backs that they have right now, I can kind of see where Bruce Arians is comfortable with what he has, as opposed to bringing in some different running backs. But again, the roster's fluid. We don't know what's going to happen going all the way up to game one. So it'll be really interesting to see that. Next question for you is the secondary. What are your thoughts on the secondary and, what's going on with them?
Well, they've actually been, from my perspective, here at camp, this is my second day since camp has started. From my perspective, they're playing decently. You know what I mean? Like they are. Obviously, with training camp, it's funny because they're bringing in different quarterback. You know what I mean? They're bringing in Winston, they're bringing in Gabbert, they're bringing in Griffin. You know what I mean? So it's I would imagine that depending on which team is playing with which quarterback, you know what I mean, it could really could go either way. But the first string, or it seems so far, the first team secondary is looking pretty sharp. They're getting their hands on the balls when they're getting their hands on the ball when they need it, when they need to, and I think that they're going to be improved over last season.
That is great. That is great to hear. And Allison, thank you again for taking time out to be on with me. You're always welcome to come on. Yeah, I just wanted to. I don't know how much time you have left. I know you have some articles that you have to get out, and I know that's kind of important to get to that. So a couple more questions, and I'll kind of wind this up for you. I know we talked a little bit about Jameis Winston. What about that defensive line? I kind of want to jump on the defensive line. These are kind of subjects that a lot of fans over the offseason, I don't know how much you followed social media like Twitter and seen where people have concerns about certain positions, and I know that the defensive line was one of those positions with the departure of Joe McCoy. You have Ndamukong Suh in here, and you have some other pieces that are getting a chance again to come out and show what they can do. So what have you seen from this defensive line?
Yeah, I think that I think they're looking pretty solid. I think that they're doing they're performing their positions higher than maybe expected, maybe that people expected, maybe compared to last season. I sort of feel like fans had expectations, coming into, mini camps and training camps, like, they were speculative, and with every right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean?
And but I feel like I hate to sound like a broken record, but I do feel like defensively, not only with the secondary as I mentioned earlier, but I feel like defensively overall, the team is going to be, once again, much more improved. It's hard to tell, in training camp, because they're just kind of like in the mix of things, and they're learning, as they're going along. I think we'll have a much better idea in terms of, what things are really going to look like come their first preseason game.
All right. Hey, how many more games will you be? How many more practices will you be able to attend? Or
has that one more on August 6th?
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, Peter Blake will be joining me this time.
Yeah, my guy Peter.
Right,
so
yeah.
So this is great. I know it's kind of impromptu, and I'm not going to hold you up too much longer. Just wanted to kind of get your thoughts today on how everything went. And from the writer perspective, I know that you've followed some other teams, like I believe the Detroit Lions would be one of the other teams that you kind of followed. In perspective, how is this camp different than some of the other camps that you've been able to attend?
Well, that's a really good question. It's hard to say, because every organization kind of runs camp differently. So, when I was in Lions camp, I was invited there for a few years writing for the South End at Wayne State University. It seemed to have a little bit more of a calmer feel, but while I was there, this is a, I would say, a different season because there's a whole new staff.
Right.
When I was at camp in Detroit, things were seemed to have a little bit more of a less chaotic feel. But I sort of attribute that to Arians, his presence, and there just being, newness all around, new playbook, a new system to install, and something totally different than the Buccaneers have ever seen as players. So.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So it's been interesting. It's definitely, like I said, it's got a little bit of a chaotic kind of sense to it, but it's an organized chaos, if that makes sense.
Yeah, most definitely. I could see that. Well, Allison, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to get on. I want to get you back on when we have a little bit more time to talk, and I know that you're not. I know how methodical you are with your writing, and you had to make sure that you're in the zone and you're getting that all taken care of. So again, thank you so much. And now that you've been on, you are a friend of the show, and you're always welcome to come on and at any time. And I will definitely have you on more often. And hopefully, we can get some live, some live podcasts out of you, and maybe I can get to help you out with that as well. So thank you so much for that, and I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me on, man.
All right.
See ya.